seconds remaining.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 14 Finals! It's the last round! Today we got the Crusader Knights taking on Thugwood and the Thug Chans, who, in the last round, exploited a major flaw in the Bean 10 strategy called not listening to me. Crusader Knights, of course, have had, outside of one hiccup against a surprising ATHF lineup, have had mostly a pretty clear path to the finals. Their last encounter with Chrono and Lucifer ended in two very one-sided encounters. Let's see how this one goes. CK starting off there, banning the Mars, which is really surprising. Oh yeah, by the way, we got the Dr. Dota, Randy.
Yes, hello.
And one of the champions, if not perhaps the signature champion of Season 13, we got Ray Bay.
Hello, this is the feeder.
Crusader Knights opted to ban out the Mars in the first round, which is really interesting to me. I gotta be honest with you, I don't think Mars is probably ever worth banning right now. He seems really bad. But if it's a very comforting hero... Yeah. True. What they're gonna get is Disruptor, which, I don't know, I think it's worse than Mars, honestly. I think I would rather see the Disruptor with the Snapfire than the Mars, because that's such a small investment for a pretty similar return.
If I were the Thugwoods here, I would probably draft Mirana, because it gives you an easy way to hit the Tombstone.
Yeah, you got the Mirana. It's probably Hollywood Disruptor, but they have done Roxy Disruptor and Hollywood on too, right? Something else,
so
yeah.
You don't really know where he's going, so you could pick a Hollywood hero.
It is not committal. And we actually do have an unironic sponsor today, so get ready for me shilling the hell out of that, baby.
Dire team pick.
Sure, I will keep an eye on chat.
Damn it, now everybody knows what I asked you to do.
Tide.
Disruptor Tidehunter.
Well, okay, well...
Here comes Lush.
we're picking Lush in finals.
Well, yeah, I mean, why not? I will say, I do think that Lesh into Disruptor could be kind of bad if Disruptor possessions himself while in a fight. It's, the thing with Lesh in long silences like that is, it has to happen before. If you get the world's greatest Disruptor ult on Leshrac and he's already used all of his skills, it doesn't matter, he didn't do anything. And they're up for so long, it really doesn't mean a thing. But if you get a big Tide ult that stops him in advance, and you drop the Disruptor ult and the Arena, whatever the Disruptor Arena is called, I just call it the Arena, sorry everybody. If you drop Disruptor Arena on Leshrac's head, drop the ult on him, then he's in a really bad spot. It's going to be very execution-based there.
So I think it's a Kailesh, right? Because he's the only one of these players that plays that hero.
Maybe. Could be London. I mean...
Vex also plays it, but...
Yeah, so there you go. It's definitely one of the three cores on this lineup.
Does London play it?
I'll be blunt enough to say I don't really think anybody can't play Lesh.
I mean, it's true, but, like, does he want to play it? I guess this is a more accurate term.
He wants to win.
I guess that's true.
So, I think that comes secondary. If you're in a tournament right now, you want to win, you pick Leshrac. If you don't want to win, you pick Ursa Mid. Banning out the Lifestealer there on Crusader Knights. It's a pretty good idea. That's in the Jackie wheelhouse, and is somebody who has a very negative effect on these guys. I don't know about banning out the Neeks. I've seen the Hollywood Neeks. Even if it's really annoying to deal with as Lesh, I don't think you need to ban it. I think if you get it, then Leshrac has a 1% worse game, and their offlane has a 3,000% worse game.
It's best of 3, by the way. Cheeseburger.
Yep. Banning out the Clinks here. Beastmaster going down on the other side. It's an interesting ban, going for the Vex Beastmaster. I don't think he would do that as a comfort pick. I think there's something specific in mind with that. Might be seeing like the Bush Pango or something. Certainly wouldn't be that odd, actually, because we got the Lesh here already, and Pango's pretty good for Lesh. What do you think, Ray?
I I think when I look at the drafts right now, I don't really like the Tidehunter pick that much because I would like to see them retain a bit more flexibility for their offlaner and then try to pick something that can deal with the Tombstone. Because right now they have 2 heroes that cannot deal with the Tombstone at all, and that means that you're going to have to draft something to deal with the Tombstone. And I'm a big fan of, like, when there's an Undying, you really want 2 heroes that can deal with the Tombstone so that you don't... Because it's like so hard in the lower MMR games to like make sure that you always prioritize the Tombstone. So personally, I would like to see Mirana as a pickup.
I mean, upside is
It's also,
Tidehunter.
like, it's also preferable that it's a support, right? Like, if you pick a snap to do it, it's pretty convenient because you don't necessarily want your core to have to do it.
Exactly. I think the other thing is, like, the Thug Wood team is really dependent on getting Jumpman a good game, and picking your offlaner this early means that he's going to get countered in lane, so I think it's kind of sus to pick it this early.
Upside is, well, I mean, there's 2 upsides. A, that could be the Kai Leshrac. If it is, Tidehunter doesn't give one about Leshrac. B, at the very least, Tidehunter himself doesn't really fear the Tombstone zombies particularly much. Hates that strength steal. He really hates that strength steal, actually. But
That's an interesting way to deal with Lesh, actually.
I still don't like this though. Like, they have 3/5 of the draft done
they do
and
nothing
0
to
answers for
Tombstone.
Undying. Yeah.
10 seconds.
Like, once Undying gets the talent, so he has 2 tombstones, what do you do?
5 seconds remaining.
oh, that's that remains to be seen. I mean, here's what you do: you go the Howler Ancient Apparition core build, and you just make him a machine gun, and you just yeah. That's what you do. I mean, they still have picks for it here. If they, I mean, the two options here when you're talking about that, there is one more unorthodox option here, which is draft a lineup that cares so. Oh my God, this is a bad time to get a text.
Clockwork. Right.
I think they're drafting it because Disruptor and also Tidehunter especially, they don't like to lane against Clockwork, so I think it's a good pickup.
That is, yeah, on one hand, but on the other hand, no, yeah, it's fine. I thought I got my wires crossed for a minute there, and I was about to talk about how Hollywood on the Clockwork so far has not shown great results, but it's not Hollywood on the Clockwork, it's Dusty on the Clockwork.
Dusty, yeah.
I can't say...
Oh, they're picking OD.
OD?
They're picking all their sweaty heroes. It makes
Here comes a
sense.
sniper. I really can't say in good faith that I've seen Dusty... Like, I'm pretty sure his stats are... They... Let's just say it like this. When I did my research on Dusty for both last season and this season, he had...
10 seconds
He...
remaining.
The switch from Season 13 to 14 was that he had one more hero in his plus 4 pool. I don't think he plays that much Clockwork, so he's going to be slightly off of it here, I think. You know, keep in mind, Dusty, not a regular support player.
I think when I look at these lineups, I'm definitely favoring the CK lineups much more. I think Hollywood is drafting a very high execution lineup because you have 2 supports that can't get gone on and they need to stay in the back, and a sniper. So like the only hero that can stand in the front is this Tidehunter, and he's also the only initiator, right? Until the Disruptor can get a blink, but I don't think that's like what Holly rushes.
Something just hit me. Here, Ray, baby. Go on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was just gonna say it's like very hard to execute this lineup from the Radiant side because, like, if you don't have Tidehunter, how do you fight? Meanwhile, I think on the other side, like, even if you're missing 1 or 2 heroes, you can still fight on the other team. You have initiation, you have team fight, you have a lot of magic damage. The only hero weak to on the Dire side right now is, I think once the Radiant team builds BKBs, it's actually kind of hard to fight because they're all pretty much magic damage based right now.
Right. And one major thing here is Crusader Knights have left in the most played Jackie Chan hero. There is no Juggernaut ban so far, which is interesting.
Yeah, I actually really like Juggernaut here for the Thugwood team because it gives you a way to deal with Tombstone because you attack really fast. You can also spin out of all the magic damage, so you can just ignore the Lesh. The only thing is the OD can save people, but I really like Jug here. Also, it's a hero that can fight relatively early, and I think that's good You don't mind that much if you get going on as a jug, because as long as they don't burst you can always get Omni off.
And here's another thing that makes it a really solid pick here. You know, you were talking about how these guys can't frontline, they can't, you know, the second the tide goes down, things get really bad really fast. But here's the thing, right? Healing Ward actually fixes that to quite a large degree, because one thing these guys do have in very large quantity is they have a lot of disengage, right?
Oh,
They have a
Spectre.
They have a lot of ability to just make you go away and not care. Having the healing ward behind you.
So is Vex Slash or is it Lemon Lash? I still see.
It looks like it's a mid Lash and offlane OD and
More than likely.
Spectre. Yeah, I actually really I like Jug even more now. Jug is really good against Spectre because Spectre struggles actually to kill the healing ward if you micro it, and it just mitigates so much damage in the team fights from the Spectre ulti. So Jug is really good against this team.
See if they go that direction.
Weird they didn't ban it.
Yeah, it's weird they didn't ban it. I do think it's kind of a no-brainer pick here, honestly. I really can like it's very obviously good, and I really just don't see. And it does get back to something I was talking about earlier when we were talking about the Undying and talking about the OD, even the Lash is, you know, playing to not have to deal with it. And yep, there it is.
Of course, expected.
I actually think the Juggernaut really ties this lineup together much better. Yeah, I would still favor, I think, the Crusader Knights a little bit here. But I do think that if the Sniper can build a BKB, and honestly, I would even build a BKB on Tidehunter here. I would just just rush 5-man BKBs, and I think that
it wouldn't. Yeah, it would not be a bad idea. I think it's going to be down to execution for Thugwood. If they bring all these pieces together, and this is 4 Comfort Heroes and Sniper, well, yeah, this is 4 Comfort Heroes and Sniper, right? If they're able to bring all the pieces of this puzzle together, this can be a really, really, really nasty team to actually try and have to face down. If they slip up, and if Crusader Knights is good at one thing, they can play at a fast tempo and totally throw off the opponent. That's what happened to Chrono Lucifer last week, you know? Chrono Lucifer, I think everybody would agree, definitely one of the top teams in this season. They made them look like chumps just because they fought so fast, and it just made it very awkward for the way that team likes to play, the strategy likes to come together. If they can do that again here, if they can push out a faster game than Thugwood wants, if they can get the picks, you know, on a consistent basis, if they can keep things moving fast, then Thugwood definitely can fall apart. But I do think if everything comes together in the perfect world where everyone's playing perfectly, I do think Thugwood actually has an advantage here.
I mean, I kind of also have to say the Sniper and the Spectre matchup is a disaster for Sniper. So we have to think about that. If Sniper is their win condition, if like something bad happens in Jug's game and Sniper has to be the win condition, he's facing a Spectre puzzle and it's like
he's facing Spectre and he's facing OD. Yeah, it's very predicated on Juggernaut having a good game. If Jug has a bad game, there is nothing to do here. But on the upside, I really don't see how Jug could possibly have that, to be honest with you. This is such a good Jug game, and there's not really anything on the table right now that poses much of a clear threat to the guy.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Sniper matchup against Spectre, obviously it's like pretty bad, but I think the fact that you have Tide and Disruptor and some of these other heroes actually makes it not that bad. Because if you just stay grouped enough in the team fights, you can always play the Sniper by just like pressing your buttons.
Yeah, that's it's a rare, unusual situation. Usually when you're playing Sniper, the idea is that the way you stay alive is staying as far away from the enemy as humanly possible. But in this specific game, you know, it's quite likely that the Sniper just wants to stay as tightly packed as possible. It definitely goes well for the Thugwood lineup to stay close, stay together as much as possible. Usually, London is on a hero where he can really punish that, but outside of his ult, which, you know, has definite answers, it's going to be harder for him to do that this time. You know, Leshrac can do a lot of damage, but he's got some downsides on that fact that London's not very used to. London, for example, very used to playing very tanky heroes. He's used to his Kunkka, he's used to his Magnus, he's used to playing his Tiny, right? Certainly this season, that's what he's what he's been at, and playing a low health hero whose regen option is going to be stopped by the Ancient Apparition and whose damage can be entirely ignored by the Juggernaut, that is going to be a bit of an unusual situation for him. It's not usually what he's going to be sitting on.
These are very aesthetically pleasing starting items for Jug. The sticks.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Now, while we're waiting here, should let everybody know that we got a sponsor this time. It's an actual unironic sponsor. I'm going to be plugging it a couple of times. Here's the first. Sorry, everybody. It's Magician Tournament. Magician Tournament number 3. Sign-ups are opening on December 1st, so quite soon. No, actually, sorry. Postings will be made on December 1st. Sign-ups going live December 17th. We'll be starting on January 6th, running throughout the next couple of weeks. We will be having tickets. Tickets will be priced at $5. 3 of the $5 are going to be going to charity. So if you buy a ticket from Mage 3, you will be donating to charity. In doing so, we are looking at famine relief in Somalia, currently vetting out charities in the wake of doing that. So if you want to get on that, play some Dota, do it for a good cause, and put some money in our goddamn pockets for once, that's a great way of going about it. And I know some of you last season remember some of the administrative issues that went down with the Magician tournaments, but don't worry, because I personally will be overseeing the reforms on that front, and if anybody remembers the Randy Cup, all those matches happened on time and everything. The only administrative problem we had during that was Twitch outages. So, you know, those of you who had that experience, I do hope you give us another chance here. So, Mage 3. Once again, Mage 3. Sign-ups December 17th, tournament going live January 6th. What do you think of famine in Somalia, Ray Bebe?
I think that famine is a terrible thing. That's why you always gotta farm. You know, that's what I tell people.
Yeah. You never want that to happen to you. You know, people are dying.
FF finals.
That would be funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure most people at home, you know, let's use this time to talk about something all Dota players really like. Somalia. Somalian history and politics. You know, Somalia is a very unstable country for a lot of very unfortunate reasons, you know. Those of you who are of a certain age will remember that through the 90s and through the 2000s especially, Somalia was always in a state of basically chaos. They were in more or less large-state civil war. I mean, around the year 2000, like 99, 2000, it was just straight up plain out anarchy. You know, people fighting people everywhere, right? Countryside's been quite heavily devastated. There's a lot of these deep-rooted sort of conflicts, deep-rooted tensions between clans there. And it's sort of trickling down to negatively affect the population. So when you have a famine in Somalia like you do right now, or a humanitarian crisis of any kind there, but, you know, famine in particular is quite a major one because people find that very hard to deal with, especially when food production worldwide is down right now, right? Prices going up. You know, the government is still so basically battle-scarred. It's pretty difficult for them to actually deal with that. It's pretty difficult for them to actually find money, find avenues to distribute. So when you put money that direction, you're actually, you know, it's something where even like a fairly small amount goes quite a long way. And I've heard rumblings from Mr. Magician that he might match the total we get. So for every dollar that we send out that way, he might put up one of his own, which would be quite good, if I'm being honest here. So, keep that all in mind as we sit here waiting for this pause to unpause.
London has reconnected.
I think one other thing while we're talking about the draft before the game starts, another reason I actually really like Mirana, and I know this is, you know, a bit hindsight, is Mirana actually means that when you Moonlight Shadow, you can disengage from the Spectre ulti. So it gives you a lot more optionality to protect your heroes. And also it means that you can be like out of position more as Mirana and not die. So
the upside you get for a Disruptor is that if you're quick on the draw with the Glimpse, you can get rid of the Ags ability. You just get rid of that. You know, because Spectre doesn't have any more avenues to get back once you glimpse her the first time. She's just sitting there with sitting there, having a staring contest with her ghost. So actually, can be quite. You know, even the version where you do have the regular version of the ult and you have the Spectres running around that you can still jump to, still kind of a disorienting thing to happen. And you still did lose whoever you just jumped to. So if you jump on Sniper and then you get glimpsed, you can't just do that again unless there's another illusion on top of him, basically. So Disruptor does have things to add there, though I will say not as obvious in utility as the Midnight Shadow. And again, the Moonlight Shadow rather. And again,
alright, never mind. No grandpa.
Oh my god. And again, you're talking about very execution heavy scenario there for Thugwood. DDoS is working nice. Sure is.
This is actually a thing I've seen with the way that Thugwood drafts. He drafts too many backliners and doesn't draft enough frontliners. And I actually think that in general, drafting more frontliners is better in LB2L. With the exception, like, if you're running into teams that have super heavy team fight, you just want to mix.
I do think that there is a bit more nuance to that, because I think we've certainly seen a lot of games where it's like you've got and you weren't here for this, but I think this was a very big thing in season 12, though that is a couple of metas ago in fairness, is you have these 5 really fast heroes that play a really fast game, and they're all kind of like, I wouldn't say they're frontliners, I wouldn't necessarily say they're backliners, It's kind of like when I was stuck with Bean 10, I always called it skirmish formation guys, right? Like a Storm Spirit, Storm Spirit is going to be involved in the action, but he's not going to be like tanking things with his face, right? Like that sort of thing. I think if you have a lineup of those and you use it really well, you can just outpace. Sorry about this. You just outpace a team that's like got a more balanced construction on that way. Just tear them apart while they try to actually get information, and that can be quite devastating. Like, I think that was one of the biggest weaknesses that we saw with the Aqua Teen Hunger 4 staff lineup this season. They always have very balanced drafts when it comes to that. Usually all 3 cores could at least hypothetically frontline for the Gotham lineups, but what ended up frequently happening is that, their team would be just kind of torn apart before they would really be able to get together and form into something. Clock is ticking on FF.
Alright, he's back again.
By the way, shoutouts to Pages, who's making somehow not a first-time appearance. I believe she's only been here before for like mid-season stuff. Post-season lineups. Alright, London says G, and allegedly we might be playing some Dota today. You see, we were talking earlier about how London games never start on time. It's not a London game unless it starts 30 minutes late, and the one time that he actually gets to start relatively early, this happens. I mean, we're still like 10 minutes late. The lobby wasn't even open until after game time was supposed to be. But, like 15 minutes, that's really good for London. Usually it's like 30. But today, we didn't exactly have that. AA on pauses, and by God, we're getting into it. I mean, I really hope to God we're getting into it anyway. Oh, mama. We are sitting here, it is 45 minutes later.
It's 38 minutes, but close enough.
My clock is wrong then. I physically looked at the wall clock.
4 heroes on Dugwood, running it up into this rune spot.
Yeah, gonna find absolutely nobody here though.
Yep. Kai's
Spectre.
playing pretty defensively.
Spectre's at the tower, and the rest of the Crusader Knights are in their jungle.
Well,
Well,
down to their rune spot. Classic.
this is like maybe the way that half these LD2L games start this season, I'm telling you.
It's a way to secure 2 runes, right? Like, because you might, if you send everyone to their like assigned lanes, then you might get outworked at the rune spot, and you might just get one.
Right.
But if you send like a whole congregation of heroes to kind of sit in this area, then you'll probably get 2.
Bliss and Roxy Roro having a exchange of words here. Roxy Roro throwing out the high fives, getting it from Bliss. Gonna keep it up here, actually.
Yeah, you can't really trade with an Undying.
Nah. I do think AA is actually better at it than most supports, but that's not really saying all that much, to be blunt with you. He's dead. Alright. Roxy Roro overstayed his commitment there, I think. First Blood, they sing the Song of Death. That's going to be given Genshin Keybinds. It's going to be given the lanes here a little bit of a boost. Interestingly, Roxy's going to be laning with Jumpman here, so they have Roxy pause 4 with Holly pause 5. Which, well, I don't think is that bad in this game. Yeah, I think I like having the glimpse in this lane in particular. Just being able to get Clockwork the hell out of Cogs, for example, is pretty good, I think. And once he hits 6, there's a very obvious upside.
Yeah, Meteor Hammer too. I don't want to have that for a little while, but when he does, there are 2 heroes in this lane that ruin Meteor Hammer, so you have to rotate.
So, now that we're actually playing Dota 2, it's time to run down the roll call. Pause 1 for Jackie Chin. Pause 1 for Thug Wood. You've got Jackie Chin on the Juggernaut. Pause 2, you've got DeBush on Sniper. Pause 3, you've got Jumpman on the Tidehunter here, who, if he wins this set, by the way, will be one of the very small list of LD2O players who have won 2 consecutive seasons. Pause 4, you've got Roxy Roro. Usually this is where Hollywood is, but today it's Roxy on the AA. And pause 5, you got Thugwood, Hollywood, captain of the team, on the Disruptor. He just ate a mango for no reason. That's my biggest pet peeve. On the other side of the coin, pause 1, for the Crusader Knights, you've got Kai on the Spectre. What the? Pause 2, you've got London on the Leshrac. Pause 3, you've got Vex on OD. Pause 4, you've got Dusty on the Clockwork. Who, I mean, London's the captain of the team, but I mean, we all know who's actually the captain on this team. And pause 5, you've got Bliss, who used to rhyme with Chris, now rhymes with nothing at all on the Undying. Looking to get his 2nd kill here. Why didn't he drop Tombstone for this? It's a bit odd. Saving it for Dota 3, what can I tell you?
You kind of prefer a core kill if you're dropping a tomb, right? Or a situation where you can maybe kill both, rather than just use it to kill an AA's at 100 health.
You do prefer it, but I mean, on the other hand, it is like a situation where it's like, you know, if Spectre's going to be the primary win condition on your team, and I think if you got a drug against Leshrac, you can say that's going to be the case. Leshrac is not going to be able to do it himself here. If you're in that situation, oh, Thugwood's going to go down. You probably want to have Spectre have the nicest lane he possibly can. And I don't think he got that much to fear of the Tide in this lane. Tide's not a very offensive laner. Certainly not in a situation like this.
Roxy's still hanging it out around, very risky.
Yep.
One more decay and he's going to die. I'd just go back to base here if I was Roxy.
Yeah, like decay plus the dagger will kill him.
Yeah.
Speaking of killing, Vex is dead.
Okay. You look away from bot, that's gonna happen. Action in all, well, 2 of 3 lanes anyway. So
We should
far,
talk about lanes though. I like.
Thugwood.
The Thugwood team is crushing all 3 lanes right now.
Yep, everybody up on their equivalent as far as last hits go. Vex is going back home.
Storm and Dusty's dead.
Alright, completely unoccupied safe lane here for Thugwood. Unfortunately, this is like the worst. This is like the worst imaginable time for this lane to suddenly get completely safe, because the lane equilibrium is terrible. So they're just gonna start nailing this tower.
Dire's bottom tower
One of the problems when you have 2 heroes die like that is there's basically 2 waves that happen bottom where the Dire doesn't get any of the EXP or the gold, and it's pretty bad. It'll probably be a full level behind.
Yeah, I think probably maybe the foremost issue that you're going to have with offlane is making sure that you're keeping up level wise. If you start to lose levels, yep, I'm gonna get rid of Hollywood.
Hollywood made a
Let's
mistake
not
there.
actually get this.
I think the moment Dusty walks up to him, he's got a glimpse earlier. You can't wait that long to glimpse, because then the clockwork's just on top of you, and then the glimpse doesn't take him far enough away.
The bush is affirmative. You must be listening.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So I was saying, one of the big primary things with, especially if you're fighting Jug, because this is not a good matchup for OD, is making sure that at any time, okay, all right, can I make a point without somebody dying, please? That would be awesome. Lots of rotations coming up here to mid. Going to stamp out London here.
Hollywood rotating mid, a classic.
DeBush is actually destroying this mid. He's 38 and 12 against 19 and 8. So
Yeah, 19 and 8 and a death as well.
yeah, DeBush is doubling up London here, which is not good.
Rather worrying start.
Ooh, action going top.
Kai is going
It's
to go
even
down
more
here.
worrying start now.
Yeah, you can say at this juncture. I mean, lane phase hasn't formally ended yet, but I would say at this juncture, Thugwood is. You can just say as almost a matter of fact, Thugwood has won this lane phase. Good glimpse there on Hollywood's part is going to lead to the death of Clockwork once again.
I admire your craftsmanship. Your durability I question.
Well, at least Disruptor admires Clockwork's confidence. Tidehunter has 40 last hits, goddamn. It's a lot for Tidehunter, especially...
The top 3 in CS in the game are all Thugwood cores.
Especially in a lane with Undying. That's not a great matchup for the Tidehunter. Like I said, Tidehunter doesn't really care about Tombstone basically ever, but he really cares about that Strength Steal, and so far it seems like it hasn't been sweating him at all. I do think that has been, to a degree, Bliss maybe overcommitting to support trades rather than, trying to get rid of the big stupid watermelon. Because it feels like every time I look at this lane, Bliss, outside of literally right now, Bliss is just trying to bully the Ancient Apparition and isn't doing anything to the Tidehunter, which is kind of the opposite of what I feel like he should be doing here. First Omni Slash of the game.
Omni Slash.
Yep. Not really going to get anything of value here.
I think there was a bit of a miscommunication there because Thugwood was walking over to pull when Jackie was going on.
Yeah.
Jackie was going. Well, one thing I'll say about this Vex build is he's rushing Meteor Hammer, and I really don't like this item.
No.
Because Jug is just gonna spin, right, when you...
Yeah, and you have a disruptor too. It like ruins it with one button, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So it's like, if it's not good against either the heroes in lane... I mean, maybe the next tier move is he goes mid and he kills DeBush with it, because DeBush doesn't have a way out, but I don't know. I don't like this build.
Yeah, and it's not good against the Tidehunter either. It's good against Sniper and AA. And only if they're alone, and that's it, basically.
Right. And so, it's a big gold investment when you're behind in lane.
And, you're not going to interact with AA, much in this game at all if you're Vex, probably. So, one of the two guys that's good against is somebody that you're not going to be using it on.
And
More
the other
likely.
one's a BKB purchaser,
Yep.
so...
Super early BKB purchaser this game. Would legitimately not be surprised if it's Maelstrom BKB this game for him. Because, you know, you're walking into Leshrac. Dusty tries to come custode over mid here while London's taking a powder. Just kind of loses some health. Has to walk away.
Bliss is dead. He is dead.
Is under attack.
Meter hammer out here by OD.
Thugwood's gonna, or Debush is in trouble here.
Vex is also in trouble.
Vex is super in trouble. In prison to delay the inevitable. Good wand pop.
Ooh, but the jukes. Oh lordy,
Yeah, they
lord.
can't find him.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. What a god.
If you're Jackie there, you can't go bottom. You know that he's right there.
Yeah, yeah. Not like he
Also-
could have done that much. I don't know if he actually dies in the time of that TP, but
Radiant structure.
Also, I think if you're Debush here, A, you gotta get more vision out mid, and B, you gotta get support to camp with you mid, because you know that it's gonna camp you with your heroes.
he did have a bunch of vision there, but it all got deordered, so it's kind of unfortunate. Like when we last looked at mid, we just saw a bunch of wards get knocked out. Now all the supports are here, so they must be listening to you once again. Direct line to Debush HQ. Two ships passing the night, as Randy might say.
Yeah, Holly decides not to push the issue and glimpse.
AA hasn't been in this top lane in quite a while, but I don't feel like it matters that much. Sector's still not really able to get any
London's getting gone on.
consents. Yep, at this point. Sector's gonna come in. They're gonna take a look at Sniper here, but it looks all they're gonna get. Just having the AA here has changed the dynamic of this lane so much. Like, just feels pretty impossible to get rid of him. And bringing Spectre here is unfortunate. You know,
I really like what the Thugwood team is doing here in terms of bringing both the supports mid to play with Debush. I think it's really good, because when Debush is by himself, he dies pretty easily. Actually very hard to kill Debush if both the supports are around him.
and neither of the other cores need it. They're ahead and they're tanky. Like, nothing's killing Jug, nothing's killing Tide. That much is basically out of question at this point. Tidehunter is rushing like hell for a Pipe of Insight here. Very hard to argue with that. It's a very good pipe game for him. So much of this team.
I really like this build from Jumpman. He's going pipe into Wraith Pact, and he's just going to do so much damage mitigation that the other team's going to have a really hard time.
Radiant's middle tower has
I don't like this TP mid though. This is a really terrible TP. You need to stay top. You need to take this tower. I mean, this is maybe like a coachable moment for a lot of like lower MMR offlaners. Like, your number one objective is to take mid tower or your offlane tower, and you should not leave lane usually until you do.
Certainly, if you do leave lane, you should leave lane for a good reason. You should not leave lane for, you know, a guy who's already actively walking away from the tower when you start the TP. Jackie Chan gonna get ganked down there.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
So the funny thing about this is Jackie Chan's death there is actually because of Jumpman. Because if Jumpman went top and actually pushed this lane faster and took this tower faster, Jackie can rotate top and he's not that vulnerable bottom. But if you leave Jackie bottom, which he sort of has to until Tide clears that tower, then like at some point they're gonna do a three-man rotation. They're gonna kill him, right? So it's funny because
In fairness, I don't think the tower, if he stays top, I don't think the tower is dead by the time Jackie Chan dies.
Tower is under attack.
Tanner is a really bad tower pusher.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that he held the wave back too far. So you can definitely take the tower by 13 minutes as Tidehunter against a Spectre.
Thing is, if you get like one TP there, you just can't do that. Like if you just feel like OD to come
If you get
in.
one TP there, it's probably your Jug maybe doesn't die.
Well, it's 3-on-1 for Jug, so just pull in one of the guys who wasn't that 3. Easy money. Like, Undying wasn't down there, and if Undying's at the tower, you're not getting it. but he should have stayed up there regardless. That wasn't going to be a save on Jackie Chan, but I mean the TP didn't accomplish anything. If anything, if he was going to TP, he should have just TP to save him, not, you know, again, try to get a kill on a guy who's already walking away when the TP starts.
Some inefficient farming patterns here means that net worth is basically equal at this point. Feels bad, but
yeah, the advantage is starting to ebb quite a bit for Thugwood. Started off very, very strong, but at this point it feels like pretty much all the momentum is starting to leak out. Dusty is going to go a little too far here trying to get out. I don't know why Jack isn't spinning already. There we go.
They just need back out bottom here. There's like no reason to really be here. Someone needs to be shelving this top lane and farming those 2 camps top. The whole area is like free to farm, and
Roxy is gonna get me here. Unfortunate.
Yep. Gonna turn around and ult. Actually did not land.
Maybe not unfortunate. This is a good revenge.
Yeah. It's nice.
The Spectre gonna TP in from behind, make it kind of awkward, but doesn't get anything but a pause for that.
Meanwhile, they also pick off Dusty. This is
why did London just drop an energy booster?
Oh no!
Energy booster.
He's gonna get it back.
No, what are you doing? Kill the energy booster! Oh my god, they could have gotten so much gold from that.
Gonna kill London instead. I guess.
Yeah.
I thought Thugwood was gonna attack the energy booster, but
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't blow it up.
I don't think they know. Maybe they didn't notice. I'm not sure. Or like you're super focused on killing London rather than looking at items on the ground.
Yeah, it's actually a definitive upside if they do kill. It's actually worth more than the death was.
But yeah, I mean, it delays the bloodstone.
much. It's 800 gold. That is a ton.
And
Herald
it delays the bloodstone, and that's like a super important item.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Or if you don't want to blow it up, you could have Juggernaut right-click it, pick it up, and just rub it in his face. Yeah.
Leave it in base so his net worth doesn't go down, so it's still a valuable kill. Yeah, easy.
I feel like Jumpman is doing work here. Definitely, yeah.
Radiant are scanning.
And by the way, for the record, when the game hitches like that, it's because I'm tabbing out to check chat. I asked you two to do that for me, but you're not.
Just haven't seen anything to respond to.
Brigand's Blade on Thugwood here. Pretty good item for them.
There's smoke. You might run into Jumpman here. Not sure.
They're definitely gonna run Jumpman. Jumpman does.
Yeah, he's gonna walk right into him.
Just walks right past him. If he pipes though, I don't know if he dies. Pipe.
He did pipe,
Pipe.
but he's still gonna die.
Walk bottom.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Drop healing ward. Save him
Oh,
with healing
miss.
ward. What? Jumpman standing still. Interesting. What's he doing?
Bait.
It's bait.
This is bait.
Easy
This
bait.
is bait. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, the bush is gonna just randomly die.
Oh, forced F. Oh, unfortunate.
But London's gonna go right down for it. Feed the Juggernaut a little bit more.
I mean,
Which-
3 for 1 is actually worth
Yeah.
it. Nah, you blew a
It's
lot of
pretty-
ultis. It's good.
It's pretty worth it because you want Jug to be your win condition in this game,
Yeah.
and he doesn't die, so it's not like a disaster if the sniper dies. Oh, glimpse away
Also-
from mid.
Once this Wraith pack comes with a pipe and a healing ward is down, this team is like actually really hard to kill because there's so much damage mitigation coming out. It's gonna be crazy.
And London's got his Bloodstone already, but the problem is that he's going to have to be living in the world where he's going to be dealing with the AA ult. So it's actually a lot less of a power spike than it usually would be for him here. So long as the AA ult is down.
I actually really don't like this BKB from Lesh. Because like if you think about how he dies, it's like ravage into like people pressing their buttons, but it's all physical damage. And the BKB, if you time it right, maybe can save you from Ravage. Also, it does help you with the Ags from Disruptor. But at the same time, this Jug and the Sniper is just going to kill you. And it doesn't stop the AA ulti. So I feel like you want like a different item. Like Yule's, honestly, would be much better here.
Because the Ags for Disruptor, that's only going to mitigate the Ags for Disruptor if you get in advance. It's actually really bad if Disruptor gets to drop on you one way or the other, because you don't get to BKB at all. And yeah, I don't know, it doesn't do anything here. It stops the Ravage. That's legitimately it. Stops the Ravage and it stops Disruptor ult for now.
And it only stops if you time it right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like if you get a Yule's here, it's so much better, because Yule's lets you dodge Omni Slash, it lets you, you know, you can Yule's the Sniper to catch him, you can use it to dodge the AA Blast, like there's so many, and you also get a couple seconds away from the Disruptor ulti, so I definitely think Yule's is much better here.
Yeah, I think it's the only defensive item that's worth anything on this lineup, because it's like, Lotus Orb isn't going to really do anything for you here. The BKB isn't going to do much. Lincoln's is obviously just not in the cards this game. What does that stop? It's like Glimpse and Assassinate, and I think Cold Feet, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Tide Undergush for now.
If I were the Lesh, I would definitely go Yule's into Ethereal Blade, because Ethereal Blade actually increases your damage by quite a bit, and it also gives you a save against the Sniper and the Jug, so it's very value.
Well, it gives you a save against the Jug. Actually, I don't know. I don't think it's a proper save against the Jug if you're Lesh this game, unless you have your Bloodstone on and it's actively, you know, saving somebody. Because if you do it and he's not he hasn't just started the Omni Slash, then he just hits Q and tears you to pieces. Like on if you do, it can be if you're playing 4D chess, it can be like a safer Spectre, because you know Spectre's going to be tanky enough where it's like and mobile enough where if the spin drops on him, it's going to be okay. But
Gold for me.
not on Lesh, I don't think. I think Lesh is always going to be in danger of that.
I see Dusty here.
Yeah, Dusty's
Yeah,
going to
TP away.
TP. Nothing happening.
Cyrano warding machine.
Thug would building up a small lead here. It's only 3k though.
Yep.
But I think you're pretty happy with that actually, because to be honest, in the late game, I would probably rather have Jug and Sniper. I know Spectre is good, but Jug Sniper is pretty good.
Yeah, and Spectre, there's the issue here where, like, on paper, Jug Sniper's already going to go longer, but then if you look in practice, this is a kind of bad game for the for the Spectre here, who's about to just randomly die.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
he's gonna jump around,
hot.
actually, yep. Leap around here quite well. I don't know who was far enough in the river there that Spectre was able to dodge like that, but definitely good use of the ult there. Actually just wasted a lot of resources in doing that.
Yeah, I think people need to like just pay attention to their heroes a bit more. If they did, they can just press their buttons and he's gonna die.
Yeah, if you notice there, Thugwood actually did not realize which Spectre was the real one. They were like pinging illusions during that.
The Ravage used.
Kind of an early Ravage.
TP.
Nice TP.
I think if you're Radiant here, you just gotta chill for a little bit and farm it up. And kill the OD, and that's fine, but you use all your spells, like Omni's on cooldown, Ravage is on cooldown, Disruptor ulti on cooldown, so you kinda gotta chill.
The big upside here is that the A ult is up, so a kill on Leshrac is definitely still a credible objective. Wait, London has no level 10 trade. Okay, did not want the mana regen.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I actually like this build from Debush here, going rushing some damage, getting Hurricane Pike to reposition, and then getting a BKB so you can tank through a lot of spells. It's a really good build. Debush definitely, I think, playing this game pretty well.
Dire's middle tower
It's also gonna mean it's also gonna make the matchup for Spectre a little worse than that, you
I'm
know.
looking for London right now.
Till they get the Abyssal Blade, it's gonna be kind of hard to deal with the Hurricane Pike and not have to deal with the team.
is under attack.
Roxy just missing every AA blast right now, it's hilarious.
Roxy
Honestly,
washed.
You do.
I probably would pick Roxy a different hero. AA without the blast, pretty useless hero.
Dire are scanning.
Tidehunter has the Wraith Pact recipe, but not the Wraith Pact. There we go. You always love to see the recipe.
We're in the Kai jungle here.
Yep. Gonna invade jungle, not really find anybody. Kai has taken only the safest of farm at the moment.
Yeah. He will be spotted, but got his dagger out. Can quickly maneuver around out of danger.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
It is notable that while the
Bottom tower is under attack.
while the cores on Thugwood have been consistently in the lead through this whole game, they've never led by much. It's never been more than 1,000 or 2,000 gold lead on their Crusader Knight equivalent so far this game. They're finding it hard to keep a very decisive advantage.
I think a lot of that is actually because of the Spectre. Because when the Spectre gets his Ags, you're basically forced to play relatively grouped. Otherwise, the Spectre is going to pick off your supports. So
Right.
I think if they were like they played at a higher level, they would probably think about like what hero pairs to put together to make that not happen. But it's pretty tricky.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The 1-inch glimpse.
Very nice.
Vex should be dead here. They should just use their spells.
Okay, that was not worth the ult.
It's a lot of spells. Yeah.
If you're Vex, you're okay with that. That
They
was
just use their spells, so.
that was 4 ults on the lowest value core in the entire server. If you're Vex, you're okay.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
And fair,
The
it's
other
not like-
problem is like you saw what the dire heroes are doing. They were literally farming the entirety of the rest of the map. So I think you feel totally fine about that as an offlaner.
Radiant are scanning.
I had to refresh to actually see chat updates. Unfortunate.
Nice. Anyone saying anything?
Radiant's bottom tower is under
We'll
attack.
see.
If you're in chat, 2 minutes ago, say something right now.
Wow.
The only thing we know is that Cranberry Sprite is bad.
What does Gotham say? Again, I always forget.
Foxy Sprite, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it slowed pretty considerably.
I think if you're Debush here, you just
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
you just go for Roche.
They're going
Yeah.
for Roche.
So, Jackie Chen says, yes, sir.
All right.
NVM London's here.
They're here though. They're here though. This
BKB
is a good
reveal.
fight. Oh no, he
Oh,
omni
slash
charges
bounces
Roche.
Oh,
That's
no.
so sad.
Radiant's bottom tower
Gigantic disruptor ult. Only in physical size,
bless
Sniper
good.
is just completely countered out here.
Radiant's middle tower
A-Bless is good, but they don't have anything.
Yeah, they have no follow up here.
Yeah, they blew everything on Vex in his last life.
That Ravage on Vex is hurting real bad.
This is they might still get nope. Like I feel like this AA is just not doing much honestly. I don't feel like the pick was a good pick. I should get Moonlight Shadow there instead. Much more value I think.
I think if you don't Ravage Vex a top lane, that fight is a win, and you
Yeah.
get Roche. Instead, it's like,
Also maybe don't Omni Roshan, you know, he's
I don't know, it happens.
not the guy you want to Omni.
In fairness,
Hey,
you don't
need,
get much
you don't need
choice.
London if
Yeah,
it's Roche.
Oh, you just don't Omni there, you know.
Then Omni around the pit, yeah.
Spin
I know
it,
what you mean.
top killing ward, see what happens.
She's unfortunate. And as finally, after basically the entire game, tilted the net worth advantage over to Crusader Knights' favor.
I think it's a pretty dangerous game now. I think it's going to be a little bit of a swingy game because if they get all their like ultis off on the Radiant side, they definitely win most team fights. But in these like more skirmishy fights, the superior fighting power on the Dire is gonna make it really difficult. Maybe just kill. Oh wow.
Good save there. But oh man, the instant blink reaction time too. If that blink doesn't come out on that frame, he's definitely dead.
I think he's okay.
Very nice.
What about BKB and Aegis? So a lot of stuff there.
I mean, he's definitely losing Aegis at any rate. Hi Spectre. Oh what?
Oh no,
Bro.
unfortunate.
I understand the intent there, but I don't think that works for Spectre. I think you gotta not do that.
What do you do?
He tried to trap. So Spectre uses Ags, jumps to Disruptor. I actually think that was regular. No, that was Ags. Uses Ags, jumps to Disruptor. Disruptor is surrounded by friends, drops ult to try and trap Spectre there, but Spectre has already jumped back to bot.
Yeah, she's.
They are
gone.
getting constantly befuddled by the Spectre. Feels like they need maybe like an Orchid on this team, or some more direct, obvious form of silence, or way of stopping that from happening.
Roxy's gonna die.
Yeah,
here.
Yeah. It's caught out by the sentry there.
Once again, we even have TPs on Thugwood to try and bail out the Disruptor here, who's actually not in any credible danger anymore. I do appreciate that they're responding heavily, they're responding strongly to Spectre, but you're not dissuading Spectre anyway. Like, you're giving Spectre a different objective when she jumps to you, because now instead of like, Spectre wants to jump to you so she gets killed, Spectre wants to jump to you so she wastes 3 TPs and an ult.
Yeah, to waste your time and cause a response. Exactly.
You know, for a person who thinks MMR is overrated, I will say for Jackie Chen, if he was a higher MMR player, he would definitely have way more farm. Because in this game, like, there's actually no way for them to kill him outside of the clockwork. So if he just keeps in mind what side of the map the clockwork is on, he can shove the lane super far and then just spin TP if he gets going on. So.
Thugwood is finally going to die.
Yeah, Kai got him.
Hollywood now going to queue up a Ghost Scepter. That's not a good idea.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Spoilers. It's gonna stop him if he randomly jumps to you in the middle of nowhere. If you pop that in a fight, you die instantly.
Surely he's not gonna pop it in fights. You'd hope.
It's true. But on the other hand, that just means that you just spent over 1,000 gold on an item you cannot use in team fights.
I think if you have all your spells here on the Radiant side, like right now, you can just run at the other team. Like, if you just drop Disruptor, Ulti, Ravage, Omni Slash, AA Blast, and you have a sniper hitting them, they're gonna die. So
1 minute to go on the
I want to see them
Aegis.
play like, yeah, but they can definitely burst enough heroes that they can take a fight. So I want to see them play a little bit more brave here. You're not gonna win the game if you just play like a pansy and sit 5 people in the base. Like, just Ravage here. Like, this dude's gonna die. Or
No
don't
Ravage
even
necessary.
Yeah, so like, I don't think they need to play like a pussy here.
They are 5-man smoking.
Yeah, this is good smoke. They'll probably catch Dusty or something. He's gonna die, and then, you know.
Gonna find, oh. You hate to see it.
That hit London, by the way.
It did hit
But
London,
it's
but
saved
he's
by the OD.
so far out of position to do anything about it.
Jackie's gonna get mirror hammered.
Jackie's
dead?
gonna die.
Ooh, London in trouble here.
No, he's not. The
he's in trouble
Disruptor
now.
Ags isn't out yet. Aegis did just expire randomly. It's kind of an awkward time for that. I don't think it really matters.
Dusty's playing Ring Around the Rosie with the bush around the trees there.
Then he dies with a Shroud Launcher sniper TP'd out. It's kind of funny. But,
I think it's getting to the point in the game where the Spectre is starting to get pretty scary.
Yeah,
But
the
I think-
wheels are. It definitely feels like the wheels are falling off the bus here for Thugwood in a big way. The strategy is starting to rip
if
them down.
Thugwood loses, that Vex kill is the main reason.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. Like the big deciding factor that turned everything around was when they put so much on such a low-value target. You know, next fight was such a major disaster and just changed the game in such a fundamental way. Like, that really tells you how big, especially on a team like this, because it's like, you know, it's not some little tiny baby cooldowns they were popping on that either. That's 150 seconds that you put to no use.
To be honest, I don't really like this Blink Dagger on the Tidehunter. I think it's too easy for her to get disrupted in a team fight by Spectral ulti.
I mean, there's nothing to do with it. Like, this is a game where if there's going to be a good Ravage, it's going to be predicated by the enemy team already being, like, initiated. You're never going to blink and catch with a good Ravage in this game, basically. It's only going to be defensive.
I think part of the problem, though, is, like, I think it just goes back to the draft, because when you look at the draft, you need Jumpman to initiate, so that's kind of why he built this item. But it's, like, really awkward, because he doesn't really want to build this item, right? But, like, if you look at the rest of his team, I mean, how do they initiate? It's very hard to initiate, so... These AA blasts. Oof.
It's going to be a weird thing to say, so bear with me. Are you ready? I don't think they have any need to. I think the way they can play and operate this game, I think they can set up a scenario where Crusader Knights has to be all offense and just counter-initiate. I think they actually have a really good lineup for doing that. They can force fights on their terms quite easily. So to that end, you know, like you said, you don't really need the Blink Dagger, because if you're going to get a good Ravage, everybody, the party's going to be on top of your head. You know what I mean?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think this is a team that doesn't necessarily need to initiate themselves. I think they have all the luxury of having the Crusader Knights do that, and when they were on top, that was working quite well for them. It's just the problem is that is a very hard objective when you're down. And when you're down, you really don't have much recourse.
Ooh, I
I'm
like
running a Kyra
I
now.
like this play, though.
Yep.
This is
Grabbing
really
in all the ults.
Yeah, this time we're on a target that actually maybe deserves it.
Yep.
That's really good. It's like actually a play that I like to see like more often, because you know that Kai's a really greedy player, and you know the Spectre wants to play away from his team. So there's actually been like at least 5 times this game or more where they could have easily killed him, but that's the first time they've actually went ahead and made the play.
The downside is that right now it does kind of feel like Leshrac is the, in the long run, in the strategic perspective, getting that kill, if they stay alive, is going to mean a lot. Problem is that if Leshrac keeps going unchecked like this, I don't know how much that's going to matter.
Yeah. The Lesh also has a sheep now. It was actually very dangerous for the other team, because any hero, if they get blinked on and sheeped by the Lesh, they're going to die. So
Yeah, it's bad for Dart, it's super bad for Sniper.
yeah.
Disruptor has changed his mind, has gone away from the Ghost Scepter, and has gone for a 4th staff instead. Honestly, I like that way more. That's basically going to be as credible of a way to get away from Spectre, at least till Abysmal Blade. But I mean, once that Abysmal Blade comes out, nothing's going to save you, frankly. In that scenario.
Jumpman making a huge mistake here. He buys the Mystic Staff instead of the Plate Mail. It's really bad. It's actually like a huge problem, because he's dying actually right now to the Spectre hitting him, and like Dispersion, and well, the Plate Mail doesn't stop.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything about Dispersion.
Yeah, but it does, or it doesn't do anything about Desolate, but it does do stuff about Dispersion. So definitely think you want the Plate Mail instead.
I mean, I don't know. He has 1 death, so I don't think it's like that pressing for him at the moment.
That's true. Also, I think if you have the Jug here, you really want to get Blade Dance Lifesteal. Lifesteal is actually critical in this game because you need to be able to get dispersion.
Very awkward scenario here for Hollywood. He's had to drop ult on a bunch of BKB targets.
Oh, Jug is sheeped.
Yep.
Spin TP.
Yep, spin TP. It was a good spin TP. Tidehunter likely going to die for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, guaranteed to die for this. That was a very good save.
I actually think if he, right after he Ravage, he TPs, he can actually get out.
Well, they immediately put him in OD jail, so I don't think so.
Well, they have a 0.2 second to get to that, so it's actually pretty close.
You know, one of the things is Tidehunter as well, and I can't say for certain, but this might be a reason. You know, your Tidehunter ult is going to hit things that are out of vision. You don't necessarily know that that the OD actually got hit by that. If he's just barely out of range and drops the stun on you, that's very unfortunate.
What a hook shot. An army slash though.
Getting turned around on. Oh.
He's dead.
Okay.
Okay, Dusty. Very nice.
I think this is actually just game right here.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah.
Good attempt from Thug Woods here, but they're really good going.
Still do have to have the uphill push here. Anybody who saw one of those elves that the Hunter Bounty's hidden laptop had in the last season can know how perilous an uphill can be. That was a roast against you. Please respond.
You've been ghosted.
I have been, dude. This is very sad.
Radiant's
Nice.
middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It seemed like such a short time ago. This felt like a kind of done deal for Thugwood. You're just never able to secure enough of an advantage. I think the big thing is that the Thugwood lineup was never able to secure enough of an advantage where they had any sort of insurance. So the second that Crusader Knights were able to turn it around on them, things started getting really bad really quick. And right now, on the other hand, you know, it's like, you know, if they do make one minor mistake on Crusader Knights, if they have like a scenario like, let's say the opposite happens, let's say they drop every part of their lineup, they drop Leshrax's whole mana bar, and the Spectre ult, and the OD ult on Tidehunter, it's like they actually still have a path to victory in fights and everything, even beyond that.
I really don't like this Linken's from Jug here. This is classic low MMR play. When you're behind, you cannot go for these items like Linken's. You need to go for like high risk, high reward items, because it's the only way you can come back. So you need to buy a blink here. It's like actually really important.
I don't know, I feel like at this point in the game, if Jug goes blink, he blinks into 5 and does no damage. I don't think we've seen so far an Omni Slash actually physically get a kill on anything but a support. Just kind of an issue.
I think part of it is the positioning problem though.
Part of it is the positioning on the Omni. Then part of it is just how much they have to eat up the Omni as well. Like, you know, one big thing is you jump in and Spectre bolts and sad. You jump in and Spectre ults and now your entire Omni Slash gets eaten.
These Vex saves are really big too.
Yeah, that's another factor of it. Like right there, that was like, that should have been a nightmare Omni Slash for Vex. He ate basically the entire thing and he had no save, but he just lived. He lives, Tidehunter goes down.
Yeah.
Juggernaut goes down.
Everyone's dead.
Lots of dings.
Okay. we do. They're 27k gold behind. A lot of buybacks. I'm still not sure. Even with these buybacks, I don't know if they can stop.
No, there's nothing happening here. Like especially without the Ravage. Ravage already down. They can annoy Kai. That's all they can do to him. He's gonna go a little far here, but at this point I don't think it really matters much.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen, while Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
It doesn't really feel like Thugwood does damage on their carry heroes. Like,
No.
Sniper doesn't damage anybody. Like, he clicks and it doesn't really feel like anything's happening. Jug, it can damage someone, but his
he's not. Like I said in that last fight, OD ate almost an entire Omni Slash and walked it off. Like nothing's happening.
I think part of it is like when you look at the heroes, right? You have a Spectre with 4.2k HP, 28 armor. You have an OD with 3.3k HP and 19 armor, and a BKB and a save. And you have a Lesh with a Bloodstone, a Shiva's, a Sheep, a BKB who has 31 armor and 3.2k HP. So I think that like Radiant is putting out some damage right now, but compared to how tanky the heroes are on Dire, it seems like they're doing no damage, you know? Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a problem that at this point in the game can really be fixed. I feel like the damage gap has just gotten so extreme. And it's like they have very many ways to, like... They have many ways to hypothetically fix it. Like they have, you know, the AA ult, for example, which, you know, can hypothetically turn around pretty much like 70% of that, for example, right? They have the healing ward, which hypothetically can really come to a lot of play here. I will say, if there is one thing I'm going to be critical about this game, it doesn't really feel like Juggernaut's been very big on using his healing ward so far.
Yeah, he needs to use his healing ward more. He also needs to itemize to do more damage. I think his itemization right now doesn't do enough damage, and that is part of the problem.
He definitely cannot get this Linken's, yeah. Like,
this Linken's is this Linken's is
really
a dodo.
bad. I would love to see like an MKB, to be honest. I think that'd be really
Bush is
bad.
dead.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a
It's not really
dieback.
his fault, though. I mean, like, what does he do about it when he gets blinked, sheeped in his base?
Not much.
This is just like nothing you can do as a sniper. It's very difficult to play this game.
Everybody is just getting picked in the base here.
I still feel like a big part of the problem was the way that Hollywood drafted this game. It's like they have no protection for the sniper. So.
Yep. I mean, the thing is, they have a lot of, in theory, protection for the sniper, but it was all down to execution. And the execution really didn't come out to be that way. Like I said, you know, for example, one of the big things is, okay, so Spectre ults, jumps on the sniper, gets glimpsed, what do, right? You can't just jump back on the sniper, except that, like, I don't know, it just felt like, I mean, really, it just felt like this. This game was predicated on Juggernaut, like, walking all over everybody, and he did really well really early on. I'm thinking in hindsight, and I wasn't calling it at that time, but I think in hindsight, I think maybe a little bit overemphasis on trying to get strategic objectives on Thugwood in the early game. It felt like there was a lot of time where we saw all their cores concentrating on a push, and it's like, there's Leshrac on the other team. I understand why you want to do that, why you want to try and like field that advantage, but like, I don't know. It felt like every time they were all pushing, you just saw like, you saw the net worth lead that they had shrink by like $1 or $2 grand, and they get very little for it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look from like the 20-minute to the 30-minute mark, you know, that it's like very clear. Like 20 minutes, top 3 cores are all on the Radiant by a decent amount. Then 30 minutes, it's just Jug on top, but the Lesh is very close, and the Spec is head-to-head with the Sniper. So
either way, we'll see what happens next time. If you're on YouTube, if you're on stream, we'll see what happens right now.